I'd like you to think about that. So once again, my name is Lucia Musau, and over the last, without showing my age, over the last 15 years or so, I've been fortunate enough to work with quite a good number of brands across 5 countries. And those are some of the clients that I've worked with. Those are some of the clients that we are working with in Uganda. However, what my profile does not talk about is the digital solutions that we've been offering in different markets, including Ethiopia, where we are working with banks and SACCOs alike, providing credit scoring solutions, onboarding solutions for different members, and so forth. But I'm sure we'll talk about all these stories as we go on. So, like I said, leadership is the spark, governance is the ring. Every single time, and I know, once again, you think about transformational leadership and you wonder, what am I supposed to do with this? This is a whole lot. But like I said, I want you to imagine the bonfire metaphor. I want you to think about it, and I want you to ask, the fire that you are setting up today, will it transform future generations? I like to say that leadership today is not about just strategy anymore, or even numbers. It's about organizational change and transformation. Think about Safaricom, for example, and where it is today. Think about M-Pesa, 50 million customers. And think about the leaders the organization has seen. Think about that succession, that planning. And think about the solutions they have had to think beforehand so we can be there. So we, as customers, can continue to enjoy these benefits. Once again, it started with a spark. And governance is how they keep that ring, they keep that fire. In the digital era, our sparks spread instantly. Flames can go global overnight. And without governance, they can burn out of control. It's probably too early for us to start talking about how many scandals we have seen in the past. But I want you to imagine what could have been done better with governance. When we are referring to leadership, in grammar, it's a noun. But today, as experts and practitioners, we view ourselves in the action of doing. That true leadership is about action. It's about taking initiative. It's about making an impact rather than just the title. It's not just I'm a CEO. What are you doing about it? And that's what we are discussing here today. The act, the impact that we are creating as leaders. One of my favorite speakers and writers, Simon Sinek, once said, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. And I feel that this resonates with me very dearly. I hope this is something that you remember at the end of the day. So, where we are today, we are in the era of AI, we are in the era of social media, we are in the era of big data, we are in the era of technology. How many of us here today have used any social media? Safe to say, I can see Honorable Sitati is saying he hasn't, but I'm also sure he has used WhatsApp. As a matter of fact, he woke up and said good morning to someone. We are in the era of automation. And this era we are in poses great advantages and risks as well. Because every day You put something online, even when you are communicating to anyone, it can go public. As a matter of fact, that's how people like me have jobs. I'll tell you one story. During COVID, once again, I'll go back to Honorable Sitati because he's just right next to me. Honorable Sitati, where were you during COVID?
I was in the Kwale.
You were in Kwale.
Yes.
Anyone else who was another part of the country? Ivy, where were you during COVID?
In Nairobi.
Wonderful. So, during COVID, the day COVID was announced, I was in Mount Kenya Safari Club. I'll never forget that day because it was so beautiful. I just hosted a group of journalists and celebrities for champagne breakfast overlooking Mount Kenya. It was beautiful. We rode horses back. And we're getting back to the hotel and everyone is saying, everyone is running to the shop to buy toilet paper. I was like, excuse me, why should I care about toilet paper? And that was my first immediate reaction to, wait, what's happening? Why are we buying toilet papers? And then I got plugged back to the internet and everything, and I realized, oh my God, this thing is happening and it's coming very fast. In the next few weeks or so, a lot of my contracts were cancelled across the globe. Hotels, we are sorry, but as you are aware, we are closing down. I remember even some of my clients like Bata shoe company, and I wondered, oh my gosh, people are not buying shoes. And it followed on and on. But something happened. You see where this story connects. Our governor back then, Sacco, decided to issue Hennessy as a throat sanitizer. Does anyone remember that story? Does anyone remember that story? The governor decided to give Hennessy as a throat sanitizer for people, as part of the packages for COVID. To Hennessy, it was a big crisis. Within 1 hour of that announcement, this story was on CNN. The CEO of Hennessy Global asked, aren't we paying someone in Eastern Africa to manage our image? And within that 1 hour, I was on call with Paris, explaining how this story has not been contained. Once again, Sacco lit a fire. That fire, while everybody was talking about it and laughing on Twitter then, now X, everyone was like, oh my gosh, these packages are dope. These packages are absolutely amazing. But to me, I had a crisis on my hands. And I was like, how do we go about this? And at this point, because everyone is home, there was not much protocol. Get this new lady, get me this lady via Zoom. I want to understand what she's doing about it. And we had this heated call. I was like, this conversation has just been announced. And he asked me, what have you done about it? And I said, I just wrote a holding statement. Can I share my screen? And so what we did, immediately we released a holding statement. We released across all channels at once, thanks to automation. We released that statement across. And while CNN was coming back to this news, they said, receiving news is that Hennessy has just clarified that their drink does not cure COVID and should not. And I was, that's a job done. Now, think about this and imagine that today, everything that you are putting out there can be used and coined. It can be used against you in this era that we are in. And that's where we are at. So every time as a leader, you are saying something, you are putting something out in public, it can turn out to a big wildfire. Once again, going back to my earlier. So, let's look at today, truly, where we are at. We are at the 5-generational workforce. We have the baby boomers, born between 1946, 1964. And that, in between 1956 and 1971, they were age 10 and 25 years. Would you believe? Gen X, born between 1965 and 1980. Then we have millennials, born 1981, 1996. Gen Zs, between 1997 and 2007. And then you have the Gen Alpha, born after 2008. Please note, some of these Gen Alphas are already contributing to the decisions that we make today, while some of us are baby boomers. And therefore, you have a 5-generational workforce. And you are supposed to be serving this and all these entire generations at once today. So the question is, how do you even navigate? So, you have the traditionalists. They are valuing loyalty and discipline. On the other side, you have Gen Zs. They are activists. They want to know why. I still remember when I was young, we were told back then you are supposed to be seen and not heard. Those times have changed. You tell your son today, we're not doing this. The next question you get is, why are we not? And this is exactly what we are also getting at workplace. You tell people, I'm sorry, but you should be coming in at 8 a.m. Why? So these are the issues that we are dealing with today as leaders. When you look at your employee, your entire workforce, you have the traditionalists, you have the baby boomers, you have the Gen X, independent, adaptable, and pragmatic, the ideal workforce. Then you have the millennials. They want flexibility. You want to work from home. Then you have the Gen Zs who are questioning you at every move. This is the challenge. On top of it, every generation wants a different kind of leader. You look at Gen Zs, they're looking at approachable leadership. They don't want to come and ask your secretary or your PA, what time can I see the boss? They want to walk in your office and ask you, excuse me, sir, what are we doing about this? Then you're looking at Gen Y. They want flexible working hours. Then Generation Y is also the millennials. Then you're looking at Gen X, who are really about the money. When you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they go very pragmatic from the bottom up. And then you have the baby boomers. They were looking for convenience and all this. The qualities, even the qualities of a leader in each generation are different that this generation are looking for. So the question is, how do you today, as a leader, meet all these kind of people? Because truth of the matter is, this is what we have in our workforce today. I hope Ivy, next time when Ivy calls me here, I'd like to talk about AI. Now, what does Nano Banana do? You can go and put up your own image and ask Nano Banana to take you to any location. Say, yesterday on my TikTok, my content girl said, show us how to create your man from scratch, a designer man. And I entered my image and I said, Nano Banana, take me to the UK, in London, give me a handsome man. When you go on my TikTok today, I'm standing with a very handsome man in London. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Once again, that is Nano Banana. Now, That is the AI we are talking about. Imagine the risks. I wondered, when my husband sees this man on my TikTok, nitajitetea nikiwa pande gani? And the worst part is recently I've been in London, so it could just be. And that person looks exactly like me. And I'm standing in London. And I was like, yeah, we are headed at a very, very tricky areas where AI can pretty much truly produce reality-like images which are not really reality. And that's why, as leaders today, we've got to make sure that we understand these things so that we can also detect them. So, number 4, inspired motivation. George told us about this. Creating a motivating vision to inspire energy and enthusiasm. George, Honorable Sitati told us how he took the Sacco from here to there. In order to do that, you must ensure that your team is inspired. I want us to look at this gentleman, Satya Nadella, Microsoft. Once again, this is a case study I would like you to go and read about how Satya Nadella took Microsoft from Windows first to mobile computing, AI. The value of the company went from 300 to over $2.5 trillion, just under him. Why? Because he saw AI early enough and decided to take a risk, while at the same time, how many of us here use the Nokia 3310? Guys, are you saying I'm the only one who used Nokia 3310? Wonderful. Yet, here we are today, we are not even talking about Nokia in these rooms anymore. You know, it's the same way with Kodak, you know, the photos. So, dare to imagine, will your CEO survive the future? The solution you are offering today, are the generations we have seen, are they going to be able to take up your solutions? Now, characteristics of a transformational leader. Honorable Sitati, I said on ChatGPT, it was just a short time. I didn't say that you are going to create anything on Nano Banana right now. Thank you very much. I appreciate your curiosity. It powers innovation. The good team at AWS will tell you so, but thank you. So, you want to start by building a clear vision. Where are we going? Honorable Sitati told us that we are going, he took the Sacco from here to there. In order to do that, you must have had a vision. Then you want to lead by example. We have spoken about this. You want to mentor and develop people. George told us about that. Long-term impact. I asked a question. Will our generations, the people behind us, will they find the fire that we are starting today? And then we want to communicate with impact. We want to share ideas clearly. We want to listen actively. We want to empower others. I have been to offices where if so-and-so is not there, nothing moves. In today's world, please guys, you are here attending a forum. Please let your office continue to run. Learn to empower others and delegate. Number 7, stay adaptable. Yes, I heard Honorable Sitati told me, nitamaliza wazee, but this is the era that we are in. Stay adaptable. So, I want us to do this roadmap. Normally, what I'm doing today is a session that takes weeks, if not months. We go weekly, looking at what we are doing and what we are leading. So, take a few minutes and let's want you to, everybody here, you have, safe to say everybody is known by someone, right? Even me, Ivy knows me. Everybody has someone who knows them, correct? So, please get feedback from your colleague. So, self-assessment, the 360-degree feedback is an assessment tool. A lot of people find it very scary. Why? It's an anonymous tool. You launch it and people give you their feedback on how your leadership is, what they like, what they don't. It's very, once again, but to be a true transformative leader, you must be willing to take feedback, whether it hurts or it doesn't. Like, that's the truth. So, however, for the sake of this training, I'd like everybody to get feedback on their leadership. You don't need to tell me, but please be truthful. If you think they are still archaic, they are stuck there, no, bring the paperwork. Let me sign your leave. And you must, everything is still on pen and paper. Please give everybody feedback. Then, I want everyone to take a photo of this, or we will send it. Ivy. These are things that if you take up and follow through every week, you will be able to get where we all want to go. The first one is feedback. Once again, we are going to do that, that example right here. Then on week 2, the idea is you active listening. Don't listen to respond. I'm sure we have all seen that. A lot of people, sorry, let me move so you can take photos. You have all seen people who, before you are done speaking, they are answering. How did you know what I wanted to say? Active listening. Then you want to ensure that you have a leadership statement. Where do I want to go? Like Honorable Sitati said, you took the Sacco from here to there. What does your here to there look like? Then you want to identify strengths and motivations in your team. Meaning, you have to get to know them. A lot of us leaders do not even know the people that work for us, especially if the team is big. And then, fostering creativity and innovation. A few minutes ago, I said the way my content assistant has a video of me on TikTok. Surely, do I have time to be on TikTok every day? No. Am I, however, on TikTok every day? Absolutely. Why? I have someone in my team who does that. So much that if this forum was in Nairobi, she would also be here, taking videos, nice videos. At the end of the forum, she will put some beautiful content across social media. You already have these people in your team, but you don't think they can add you any value. You are seated there wondering, how do I grow my LinkedIn? I don't have time for this. Who has time to go through, I don't know, write posts and stuff? You have people in your team. They would love to do this for you, but you don't even give them any help. You just need to find their strengths. Give people the correct tools, and you have them do that for you. Coaching. I love mentorship. Why? Because every time I mentor someone, I also get mentored. Many a times we are not from the same generation. We are not even from the same background. So I get to enjoy their mentorship while I'm mentoring. I'm sure, and I can see Ivy checking her clock, so I will not roll onto it, but I would like to just look at it. So, some of the key things in governance today. We are talking about data. Data breaches that have caused companies. I don't know how many of you saw the case study of Meta, Cambridge Analytica. Did anyone see that case study? Did anyone read about what happened to Meta and Cambridge Analytica? I'll share about it before we finish. Then we are looking at cyber security as a board issue. You know, we have also seen cyber security happening here. I mean, even issues like Equity Bank and all that, and especially in SACCOs, cyber security is a major issue. You are holding our money. We have trusted you with our savings for years and for generations that we are hoping to pass down. And from one week to the other, the money is gone. Cyber security. Then we are looking at AI and ethical tech. The kind of risks that it comes with. We have talked about this issue of deepfakes and launch. Then we have oversight. People like Honorable Sitachi here are waiting for next quarter to discuss how we start using a new AI tool. By then, even the junior staff have uncovered ways to use it to imitate you, and they're already running with it. The quarterly cycles are too slow for the modern day teams. Then we have digital responsibility as regulators, especially as KETSA. What regulation do we have? What have we put up to ensure is the bare minimum for everybody in our Sacco to be able to report on? What are the sustainable use of technology? And what does that look like? Very key things to think about. Like I said, I'm just going to brush through given the time. So, this is the issue that I was talking about. In 2018, Facebook allowed Cambridge Analytica to access data of 87 million users without consent. They paid $5 billion in fine. People stopped trusting both Meta and Cambridge Analytica. There were global calls for regulation. There was a weak oversight on data sharing and user privacy. It's the same way that today, even on this ChatGPT we are using, is that every time, one of the things that you sign there in the small dotted lines is that everything that you are putting in these sites, they are using to train their model. We are all helping training the AI models. Meaning that some of the data that you put in there, you upload and you're like, make this presentation like this, is used to train the model. Meaning next time I search about that information, you'll find my information. So these are some of the things that you as a leader must think about because your team is doing this. One of the things that come about from this issue of Cambridge Analytica is governance is not optional. It's survival in the digital world. Truly. We've got no choice but to think about governance, especially ever as our institutions become bigger. I will tell you a personal story. So, as an agency, as African Elite Group today, we hold data compliance certificate from Communication Authority of Kenya. As a data processor and being able also to make it. I'm sure a lot of SACCOs also will have the same. However, just because I have office in Uganda and I have an office in Ethiopia and I have, doesn't mean suddenly we can collaboratively have that data. For example, I was running a campaign the other day for MAC Cosmetics in South Africa. And as a data processor, of course we were taking a lot of data. But one of the challenges that we had, and we had an issue of compliance, that our company, and the company that we report to, is based in South Africa. And the data processor said, how sure are we, how guaranteed are we that you're not sharing this data with South Africa. Please note our client is South African. We are licensed by the Communication Authority as data processor. We have certificates. However, there's an issue of governance. The law does not allow you to transfer the data of Kenyans elsewhere, across the borders. So, those are some of the issues that come up daily. Today, I come to your office, I sign security, I'm entering your building. Tomorrow, I get a message from Tala or one of those. How did they get this data? Today, as a leader, how are you making sure that the data that we are leaving at your doorstep is not being mismanaged? Please note, if such kind of cases come up, it's not the Ascaris that are in trouble. It's you as a leader. Like I said, governance is no longer optional. It's survival in the digital world. Now, finally, it's time to have a group activity. As we come to the end of this session, I would like to just leave you with this, that in the digital era, the most powerful leaders are not those who build the biggest fires, but those who ensure the flame warms generations without burning the forest. So my challenge to you is, what kind of fire are you tending? What kind of transformation spark are you starting? Will it burn people? Will it choke people? Or will it continue to warm generations to come? Thank you very much. My name is Lucia Musau, and it's been a great pleasure being with you today.